Have you ever been surrounded by people and still felt invisible? Not physically invisible, but the kind that settles quietly in your heart. You're seen every Sunday. People know your name. They smile, shake your hand, ask how you're doing. You answer, "I'm fine." And then everyone moves on. A few years ago, a woman sat across from me in a coaching session. She was warm, thoughtful, deeply committed to her faith. She attended church faithfully, listened to biblical teaching daily. On paper, everything looked healthy, but behind her smile was a heaviness, a hesitation before certain answers. Finally, she whispered, "I don't think anyone has really noticed me. Not for a very long time." That longing to be seen is not unusual. It's deeply human. We were created for relationship. As children, we flourish because someone notices us. As adults, we learn to hide. We become experts at functioning, smiling, pretending. And sometimes the better we hide, the less likely anyone is to notice we're carrying something heavy. One passage in Hebrews 10 stopped me in my tracks. Let us consider one another in order to stir up love and good works, not neglecting to meet together, but encouraging one another. 4 simple instructions. Consider one another, stir up love and good works, keep gathering, encourage one another. Every one of these requires relationship, not just attendance, not just sharing a room, relationship. The New Testament word for church is Ekklesia. It doesn't describe a building, a program, or a slideshow. It describes a people called together. Early believers didn't go to church. They gathered as the church. That subtle shift changes everything. The question isn't how impressive is the building. It's who was encouraged, who was strengthened, who was noticed. Hebrews begins with katanoeo. Consider one another. It means more than noticing. It means observing carefully, paying thoughtful attention, like leaning in to study the brushstrokes of a painting instead of glancing at it in passing. That's why someone can attend faithfully and still feel unseen. Because seeing someone and being near someone are not the same. Jesus modeled this, noticing Zacchaeus in a tree, the woman who touched his garment, the blind beggar others tried to silence. He saw what others overlooked. You cannot practice katanoeo from a distance. You cannot awaken love in someone you never spend time with. Relationship costs time, attention, presence. And yet, in a world of constant digital connection, genuine presence has become rare. Hebrews calls us back to it. The word is episynagoge, intentional gathering, not accidental encounters, not passing greetings, choosing to be present. Finally, Hebrews says, encourage one another. The word is parakaleo, to call alongside, not shouting instructions from a distance, but walking beside someone. Step by step. Encouragement isn't flattery. It's reminding people of what is true. It's entering their journey. Sometimes comforting, sometimes challenging, always staying close enough to care. When believers practice parakaleo, they reflect the ministry of the Holy Spirit Himself, the Comforter who comes alongside us. So perhaps the most important question isn't, did I attend church this week? It's, did someone experience the love of Christ because I gathered with them? Did someone leave feeling seen, encouraged, strengthened? Did someone find courage to keep following Jesus because I walked beside them? That's the picture Hebrews paints. Not an audience, but a family. Not spectators, but a body. Not people occupying the same room, but people shaping one another into Christ's likeness. I often think back to that woman. She eventually found a small group who studied, prayed, ate, celebrated, and wept together. Ordinary evenings, ordinary people, but something extraordinary happened. She no longer felt invisible. Not because life became easy, but because someone noticed, someone listened, someone cared. Maybe someone near you today is quietly asking those same questions. Someone skilled at looking fine while carrying grief no one has noticed. Maybe you've already walked past them, not because you didn't care, but because life is busy. But Hebrews' invitation is simple: gather, see, encourage, walk together. Church was never meant to be a place where we consume spiritual experiences. It was meant to be a people who help one another become more like Christ. So this week, don't just look for the perfect church. Be the kind of person who makes church look more like Jesus. Notice someone. Learn their story. Ask another question. Stay a little longer. Pray before they leave. Invite them to your table. Walk beside someone who's weary. That is where Ekklesia begins. Not with a building, not with a program, not with a PowerPoint teaching slide, but with people transformed by Christ's love, becoming that love for one another. And perhaps years from now, someone will look back on an ordinary Sunday, an ordinary conversation, or an ordinary shared meal, and quietly say,
"That was the day someone finally saw me."
if that happens, you won't simply have attended a gathering. You'll have helped fulfill the heart of Hebrews 10. And maybe that's what church was always meant to be.
I'm Emmeline, the digital voice of Emmeline, your coach for deep thinkers, especially the brilliant women who feel stuck in their own minds. If this story stirred something in you, if it reflected a place where your own thoughts feel loud, tangled, or heavy, you don't have to sit with that alone. Reaching out can be the first small step toward clarity. You'll find my details in the description, and I genuinely love to connect. And if reflections like this help you pause, think differently, or see yourself more clearly, remember to like and subscribe. It helps this channel grow and allows us to keep creating stories that invite perspective, insight, and meaningful change.
Take a look at our channel to explore the stories we've created. The link's right above. See you in the next one.